put this.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I have Miss Donna Colson, Mayor of Burlingame. So, Donna, thank you very much for joining me.
Bert, you're very welcome. It's a pleasure to be with you.
So, let me first kind of tell you why I put these on. So, as you know, I'm a real estate agent, and what I've noticed is a lot of homeowners actually don't get involved with a lot of the local politics. I would guess probably 20, 30% of the people would even be able to name their local elected official.
Hmm.
So, in a lot of ways, it's very sad for me. So, you know, I've always believed that local politics is probably more important than what happens on the national level. And everyone seems to have an opinion on what's happening nationally. So, again, thank you for joining me, and we get to talk a little local politics.
Yeah, perfect.
So, first off, while doing a little research on you, I found out that you were one of the founding members of Burlingamer.
I was. Yeah, I am. I was actually the founding member.
Even
Hmm.
more impressive. So,
Hmm.
by the way, I'm very familiar with it. I have 3 kids. All my kids play Burlingame Soccer Club, so I'm very familiar with Burlingame.
Oh, good. I'm glad you're playing there. Yeah, that was a really fun project. So I had been involved in affordable. I actually, you probably don't even know this. I was a realtor when I was in college at UC Berkeley.
No
So
way.
yeah, I got my real estate license and then I went to work in commercial real estate and I sold real estate my junior and senior year and put myself through my last 2 years of college that way.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Hmm.
And you got out,
I
right?
did. Well, I went
Well,
into
that's why
the
you're so smart.
no, no, no. I went into institutional investment management work. So at that time, then I worked in finance. So for 27 years, I worked in doing big real estate consulting work for pension funds. I worked for redevelopment agencies. And after all that, it was sort of time for a little bit of something different, a change of pace. So my husband's a big soccer player. My 2 daughters were soccer players. And my assistant, Jessica, her husband was a big deal soccer guy for the Burlingame Soccer Club. His name is Mikey Varis. He grew up here. And so he helped me, and we opened up this wonderful futsal club. And he had started Gamer Futsal School. He did a whole bunch of wonderful things. He was amazing. You may not even know this, but now he coaches. He was just the interim coach for the U.S. men's national soccer team.
Oh my gosh. No, I did
Yeah,
not know that.
yeah,
That's
like local
amazing.
guy does great. And he just took a position with the San Diego, the new San Diego MLS soccer team. He's the
Mhm.
head coach there.
Jeez.
So I was just talking to Jessica. She's on the phone moving across country. So the dog was very sad because the toys were getting packed up and he was
Sure.
confused. So yeah, so they're
Sure.
going to be there. But Mikey helped me get that going, along with Dushko and Nemanja. And we ran it for 10 years. Jessica actually helped manage it for a long time. And then after the kids went to college, we basically we donated it to the Burlingame Soccer Club so they could
Oh,
continue to operate it for the kids. Hmm.
well, I know it serves the community really well. I mean, there I don't know how many kids are part of that soccer club now, but it seems like that place is packed all the time. So
It is.
definitely we all appreciate it. But
Oh, you're so welcome.
that leads me up to my next question is clearly you had a lot of success in your business life. What possesses a person like yourself to go into local politics?
Well, that's a story that I think maybe a lot of people share. I think there's kind of two type of elected officials. There's elected officials who go into the job to serve, which is the person I think I am, and then there's others who I think go in for they have just other reasons. They want to go to higher office. They think it'll benefit their business. And so after all my years of service, consulting with public pension funds and municipal employees, and then I was a park and rec commissioner, a small business owner, I saw that we had a real issue with affordable housing here. Um, all those backgrounds really play into what it takes to do the job. And my colleague, Ann Keegren, who is still a very dear friend, called me and said, "Hey, you've been a commissioner, you've done all this stuff, would you please?" She was pretty relentless for maybe 6 months. And then finally at the end, my husband and kids were like, "Mom, first of all, you're better when you work. You're not such a good stay-at-home mom." And that's to be the truth be told. And then they really supported me. They said, "Hey, we want you to do this. We think you can make the community a better place." So I kind of am the accidental politician. I didn't really mean to get into it, but I got into it. And I have to say, Bert, it's really been rewarding and it's been so fun. And I've gotten to use all my business skills and it's just been terrific.
Well, I've been watching you from afar, and you are a fantastic councilwoman, that's for sure. And everyone I've
Thank you.
spoken to speak highly of you. So congrats
Thank
to
you.
you.
Thank
So
you.
my next question is that you've been part of the city council since 2015. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So amazing. I had to think back a little bit. So much has changed since 2015. I mean, we lived through a pandemic. I've seen Burlingame go through all of this progress. There's so many things that happened to Burlingame. As a councilwoman, what was an accomplishment that you are most proud of?
The one, there's really, there are two, but the first one would be the community center. The new
Hmm.
community center in Washington Park was something that was controversial at the council. Not everyone wanted it. And we had an 80-year-old building. It was not up to ADA. It was not ready to go. It had asbestos. It had probably mold. Our employees were strewn about the building, and it wasn't earthquake proof. So, I was having nightmares of a big earthquake or something, and seniors and little kids being in that center. So I really made it my mission to sit down and work on it. It's a net zero energy building. So it's a green building. It's took 2 years of community input. I worked a lot on the design standards with Richard Taronis, who's one of our architects. And I'll thank my colleagues, former Mayor Keegan and former Mayor Ricardo Ortiz, for really getting behind this project early on. And I think the three of us managed to push it along. And Michael Brownrigg, this is a funny little story. He said, "I'm only going to support it if it's the really cool modern one." And I said, "I'll get the modern one. I like that one too." So we ended up moving in that direction, and it was great. And I think 5, 6, 700,000 people use that every year.
I like to raise my hand because we use it all the time. So
Good,
it is
good.
beautiful. Such an
I think it's
accomplishment.
kind of the heart of Burlingame now. It's really fun. And then sort of my
Yeah.
secondary thing, which is a little more wonky and policy oriented and probably more controversial, is getting more housing built so that we can continue to remain an inclusive city.
And that actually leads perfectly to my next question. I was on your website, and boy, you picked some doozies of a priorities, by the way. Like I saw the sea level of Burlingame. There was a
Mm-hmm.
couple other ones, but one that stuck out to me, as because I'm a real estate agent, is that the Burlingame affordable housing. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
nearly all of San Mateo County is running into this issue. How is
Mm-hmm.
Burlingame doing it differently?
Perfect. Yeah. So fortunately, Councilman Brownrigg had a planning commission background. Well, former Mayor Brownrigg, former Mayor Keegan, planning commissioner. Mayor Ortiz had a very strong banking and finance background, and then of course I had an affordable housing background. So I think between the four of us, we really understood the framework from which we needed to evolve and how we needed to get housing built. We're already a very dense city. 55% of our units are multifamily residential. So it's not a big leap to think about building around transportation. I was working down at the Burlingamer every day. I was driving down there and I kept looking around. I'm like, here's a BART station. I had employees that were living far away and they were taking BART and walking. And I kept thinking, wow, wouldn't it be great if they could have a house right near the BART station or near that right near Rollins Road, North Rollins Road, where I was every single day. And the light bulb went off. And I said, hey, this is maybe a really good place to upzone for real estate and for housing. So, kind of brought that forth with our general plan. And it makes a lot of sense because you can buy, developers could buy a 2 or 3 acre site of property. They can then get economies of scale when they build. We required them to either pay commercial linkage fee or housing linkage fees or to build the housing. All of them have chosen to build the housing. So within these beautiful market rate developments are units that are affordable to people making 80% of our area median income. So blending that all in, I think, is a really smart way to go. And we've had great demand and great success. Wonderful stories of people telling me, I'm a school teacher and I used to have to live in San Jose and I would commute 2 hours a day, bring my kid. Now I'm living in downtown or I'm living at one of these new projects. I'm at school in 5 minutes.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So the next question, that's also one of your priority. So in Burlingame, there's 2 huge projects going on right now. One is the El Camino renovation, and the other one is the Broadway grade separation. Can you let everyone know why you're the best candidate to get these projects to the finish line?
Well, I'm for sure. Let's talk about El Camino Real first of all. So that project's been underway for about 10 years. And I am now with Councilman Brownrigg, the lead clients. I live in the proximity and I have some really important relationships. Just recently met with Patty Popey of PG&E, talked to her about undergrounding the utilities. She's their CEO, why that's really critical and very important. I have a strong background with our park and rec and all the trees that we're doing and the tree work we're doing. The community trusts me. They know I can execute on a project and make it work and happen. I also happen to know the Tykert company really well. My brother works for a competitor. So I have had a long-standing, my dad's a civil engineer. My brother is a big infrastructure person. So I have a long-standing understanding of it and how that project will work. Interestingly, the person who's running against me actually works for Caltrans. So funny enough, he will be conflicted out of all that work. So, I think it's really important to have someone that's involved in the project who can actually speak for the people and can be there at the negotiating table. So I'll bring all my years of expertise, all the contacts I have. I have a great working relationship with the Department of Public Works, and they are very happy to have me co-partnering with Councilman Brownrigg. So that's one. On the grade separation, that also goes back to long-standing relationships. That project just got recosted from 350 million to about 600 million. So again, I'm using my good contacts in the world, in the business world, to figure out how we're going to reduce that. We're working on how to value engineer that. I also have really strong contacts on the fundraising side. I have great relationship. I'm endorsed by our Assemblywoman Diane Pappin, Josh Becker, potentially our probably lead candidate for the federal Senate, which is Adam Schiff, has endorsed me. I have a good relationship with him, good relationship with Eleni Kounalakis, our lieutenant governor. These are all people I can pick the phone up, I can call them, talk to them. I have a good relationship with the transit authorities. Gina Pappin is our Metropolitan Transit Commission director. She and I have worked very closely together for the last 10 years. So it's, again, those relationships, my ability to go to DC, have meetings, set them up, and bring home that last bit of money, revalue engineer it, and then bring home that money that we're going to need to finish that project off.
And I just want to summarize that thought because I know those are 2 major projects. But I think what you're saying is that because of who you know, well, let me say it in a different way. There are so many moving pieces, so many parties involved with both of these big projects. It is about who you know more so than what you know. Would that be fair?
Well, I think it's probably a little bit of both. And I know a lot about both of these projects. I have sat in meeting after meeting after meeting. So I would say it's the long-standing relationships that you have with these organizations, coupled with your experience working on public works. And right now we have a lot of change going on in our council. So I think it's critical to have people in place who have proven experience in huge infrastructure projects like our community center.
Yes, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Well, perfect. Thank you so much for elaborating. So I want to kind of wrap this up a little bit because I know your
Yeah,
time is precious. So I'd
no
like to
problem.
leave off with a personal question.
Yeah.
So I have a guilty pleasure of drinking too much coffee. My doctor has said I need to cut down. Do you have a guilty pleasure?
Oh, yeah, I probably do. So my guilty pleasure um, is something very few people know I love to do, but I love to put on my grungiest clothes and my um, and get a little snack or a treat, gather a couple of friends, and then go sequester myself in an art studio. And I love to
Oh,
paint.
oh, I
So
love that. I did not know that.
yes, yes. So Dale Perkins, he used to do the paintings for all the homes that would get the beautification awards and the businesses. So I've taken that over. So I am
Uh,
now the painter for all that. And it's just such a like zenny, great place to be. It's so fun to, look at a picture or look at something special about Burlingame and start interpreting it how you think it works, paint it, make a card out of it, make cards for people, give it to somebody. And I have to kind of turn off the phone, stop talking to people for a little bit, but it is a way for me to recharge my batteries and really kind of reconnect with my
yeah.
very dear friends and my artsy self, and
Mhm.
then bring that creativity back into my job.
I love it. I love it. Well, Mayor Colson, well, thank you so much for taking the time. That is all I have for you today. I
Bert,
wish you the
thank
best.
you.
I wish you the best of luck with the election, and hopefully we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Bert. We'll take care. Have a
Take
good
care.
day.
Bye.
Bye.